Let me hit on the cameras. So the Google Pixel 3 has a single 12.2 megapixel wide-angle lens. The Google Pixel 5, on the other hand, has a 12.2 megapixel wide-angle lens, then a 16 megapixel ultra-wide sensor. Now, you can do 4K at 30 on both phones, but the Pixel 5 has the ability of doing 4K at 60. Now, the Google Pixel lineup has pretty much always been stated of having extremely good cameras, and I would say that's probably the case, but I just feel like the competition of this day and age, like they've really excelled. We're talking iPhones and Galaxies, and I think those ones really have overtaken and overshadowed the Google Pixel lineup for sure. The Pixel 3, I think, has a pretty good camera. The software enhancements alone are a huge reason to go and pick that device up, and I really do like it. Like I said, there's just not a lot to complain about the Pixel 3's camera. The only disadvantage of it is the lack of 4K at 60, which is a pretty big thing nowadays, but also the lack of an ultra-wide or a telephoto lens. Those are things that a lot of cameras are bringing. Even basic cameras nowadays and basic phones, they're bringing that type of capability, and you don't necessarily have that on something like a Google Pixel 3. Now, it's not the end of the world, but like I said before, it is something to keep that in mind. Whereas on the Google Pixel 5, with that dual camera setup, we have that wide angle lens and an ultra wide sensor, and you have the ability of shooting 4K at 60. So it is a pretty big, upgrade coming from the Google Pixel 3. That's not to say the Pixel 3's camera is ugly or bad, but the Pixel 5's camera, I would say, is definitely a worthwhile improvement for sure. And you're going to get better photos, better videos, the software is better, and because it's getting more upgrades, maybe sometime in the future there'll be an update of the camera that the Pixel 3 won't necessarily get. So that's another big thing to keep in mind, but I'll probably tell you between these two cameras, at least on the back, the Pixel 5 is way better. And even on the front, I feel like the front cameras are, different, but not as big of a difference as the back. You have dual 8 megapixel sensors on the Pixel 3, so an 8 megapixel wide and 8 megapixel ultra wide, and only a single 8 megapixel camera on the Pixel 5. So they both can do 1080 at 30. I find that really funny that they kind of flip-flopped on the back. I don't know, maybe the Pixel 3 is better on the front, but I guess for these cameras, I guess it is what it is. I wish they did put a dual camera setup on the Pixel 5. That looked really cool, but in terms of the cameras, that pretty much covers it up.